Hey, gang. So, I promise this isn't clickbait, and I do think this is important to talk about. And shout out to my buddy M, who I coached earlier today, who kind of inspired the topic. Let me give you one big reason, maybe two or three, but one really big one to stay in no contact. Look, you're going through a breakup right now. Your emotions are all over the place. I'm not expecting the emotions that you're feeling to play fair. No, what they're going to do is they're going to mess with you, and they're going to have you, and by extension, all of your self-limiting beliefs and negative thoughts about yourself, etc., come out all at once. They're going to convince you that you're horrible and that your ex is already sleeping with someone else and that the worst of everything's going to happen and why were they even with you and you're going to be alone forever, right? And you know, and I know, even if you're in an emotional place, you know that a lot of these things aren't true. And you know that your emotions are getting the best of you because a really negative thing is happening. And this is something I covered a bit more in Patreon earlier today. And that's patreon.com/thelovechat if you want more videos that have never been on YouTube before. But one of the things I talked about was how no contact is not just for leaving your ex alone because they want something and you don't want that thing. So you guys are kind of at odds in this adversarial situation. But also because it helps you take whatever problem you're dealing with, whether it's romantic and wanting an ex back, or maybe the beginnings of romance, or maybe it has nothing to do with romance. Maybe someone's angry at you, or your boss is always mean to you. But what no contact does is it gives you a very necessary timeout. Because look, have you ever stubbed your toe on something and you have that momentary burst of anger and maybe you're cursing and who the hell put this here, etc. And it's an impulse. It just kind of flies out of you to express whatever that just happened wasn't good. You didn't enjoy it. You didn't like it. So if someone breaks up with you, they're doing pretty much one of the most painful things you can do to another person. And initially, you're going to have an emotional response, and you're human. Nobody thinks any less of you for that. But you have to understand that your ex wants the opposite thing that you do when a breakup happens. And that's really what this channel's about, breakups. So you're in a situation where you want A and they want B. And because they just inflicted B upon you, your natural reaction is going to try to be to convince them that A is actually the right way to go. So what's the problem here, and what's the big reason to stay in no contact? The big reason to stay in no contact is because right now, both of your emotions are running high. At the end of a breakup, they've been thinking about this thing, right? They've been stewing on this for weeks, maybe months. So trying to talk them out of it with one swift conversation and all of these different points of reason that you have is only going to serve to push them further away from you. That is the simple truth of the situation that you're in. Because right now, they don't subscribe to your way of thinking. They don't believe that the problem can be fixed. That's why they're doing this. The breakup basically means I have considered all the realities. I've considered all the possibilities that I am capable of considering at this moment. And the only way that I can see this getting better is to call it quits. So think about that. Put yourself in their head for a second. In their head, as much as we can guess based on their behavior, because you know that we're not mind readers, in their head, they've already done the cost-benefit analysis. They've already considered all the different outcomes. And if they're younger, this might be less true because it's maybe the first time they're going through this, but more or less, they've already considered the possibilities. They've already asked themselves, do I want to work this out? And initially, right, when emotions are running high, when they're viewing the problem through the lens of emotions, they don't see a way out. And you're on the opposite spectrum. Emotionally, you're thinking, this is the love of my life. This is the only person I can ever be with. I need them. No one else on earth is compatible. And perhaps a bunch of the negative and more self-limiting beliefs that you also have. Every human on earth has. So you take all of these feelings from every single party and you throw them into a pot and you shake everything up, and it's just this weird, horrific feelings gumbo that tastes horrible. The reality is that the decisions we make when we are engaged in passion And passion does not necessarily mean romantic love. It can mean the overflowing of emotions, and emotions can be anything, right? Good, bad. So making a decision based on emotion and being emotionally charged will almost always lead you to do something impulsive. I mean, guys, let's be honest with each other. Sadness, frustration, guilt, anger, anxiety, these are all really negative emotions and we don't enjoy them. So what do? Well, we try and get away from those negative emotions as quick as possible. And we're always so used to doing something in order to accomplish something. We're used to doing exercise so that we can become more fit. We're used to studying harder so that we can get better grades. We come from a world that encourages being active, but we do not come from a world that encourages taking a break. Don't chase that thing. Give yourself some time. And the wisdom behind doing that is you give yourself an opportunity to actually digest what has happened, no differently than when you digest food after eating. Because how you view a problem on Monday might be entirely different than how you view a problem on Friday. And that's a direct quote from the video on Patreon. It's important for us to be able to say to ourselves, I need to give myself time. I need to give my ex time. Because if I make an attempt to try and make this thing work today, it has a much higher likelihood of failing because everybody's emotions are engaged. And so you come to channels like mine and you hear the exact opposite of what you want to hear, which is leave your ex alone. Because if you're trying to sell them something they don't want, the likelihood of you succeeding in that pursuit is basically zero. And the common wisdom is to let them come to you, because when they're coming to you, it was their idea, meaning they gave you an opening for you to be able to contact them and talk to them and say, hey, here's kind of how I'm feeling about this thing. How are you feeling about this thing? Maybe we would like to meet up. Obviously, follow all the other videos that I've mentioned regarding what to do if they reach out. But the point is that if you're trying to sell them on something they're not buying, you cannot then be surprised when they turn you away and perhaps become even more frustrated because a breakup is them saying in no uncertain terms that this is over. And maybe it's a breakup because of circumstance rather than because of person. In other words, maybe your ex had to move to a different country or something like that, in which case they can't be with you, right? It's not that they don't want to. And perhaps in other situations, it's that they can be with you, but that they don't want to. But either way, if you are trying to sell them a circumstance that does not work for them for whatever reason, distance, situation, whatever, it is not going to work. So back away, leave your ex be, give them an opportunity to miss you, to think about how their life is going to be with your absence now a reality. And in the meantime, your job is to stabilize yourself. Make yourself someone you are proud of, because if you are proud of yourself, you will be more confident. If you are more confident, you will be more attractive. And if you are more attractive, your world will change. Your limiting views about yourself will change. And it feeds onto itself. You're going to begin snowballing and becoming better and stronger and happier. And then how you view all your problems will change. There's some wisdom in the glass half empty, glass half full mentality. Because if you view a glass of water that is half filled as half empty, you will tend to be more cynical and you will view everything in life as more cynical. On the contrary, if you view it as half full, you tend to have a more positive outlook on life, and more positive things will tend to happen to you because you will be more receptive to those things happening. It's a psychological trick that we sort of do to ourselves. This is not manifesting or anything like that. It's simply that if you think positively, you'll tend to get positive outcomes because you're more receptive. So my friends, for this week, I want you to just take a piece of paper and a pencil and write down 10 things you're grateful to have. Even better, write them down in the YouTube comments. Just 10 things you're grateful to have. It doesn't matter how small or how big. I'm grateful for coffee. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for a sunny day. Just simple things, because it starts there. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video made sense. Do not sell yourself to someone who is not buying. That is the biggest reason to stay in no contact. And if they want you, and you meant something to them, they will come get you. Because if they ended the relationship knowing that you wanted to work things out, it is their responsibility to come get you. So my friends, as I said, I hope this video was helpful. Of course, if you want to work with me, you can visit thelovechat.net/coaching. But if you need something more along the lines of professional mental health therapy, then please visit betterhelp.com/Rory, and you can get yourself a professional licensed therapist. Additionally, if you like the Love Chat videos and you want more, just visit patreon.com/thelovechat, and I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below. You can do this. I believe in each and every one of you, and remember, the glass is half full. Until next time.